Hi guys, this is Jenny. Welcome back to Rainy Day Coloring. Today I have for you the Colorists First Tag. This tag was started by JoJo's Coloring Nook, and it is 10 questions and then one bonus question all about your coloring first as people who color. I was tagged by Danielle at Danny Buttons. And my Halloween tag, I kind of did the same thing. I don't think I'm going to tag anyone. This has been going around for a little bit. If you haven't done this though, please, please, please do it. You do not need to be tagged to do a coloring tag. In fact, if you do one and that is even cooler, let us know. We would love to see everyone who's doing this tag. So these are all about, obviously, our colorists first. So the first question is, what was the first coloring book you bought when you started adult coloring? So mine is a little, well, whatever, it's what my story was. So I started coloring as an adult again, probably like 4 years ago. And this was, I'd always been crafty. I was still scrapbooking or doing things like that, making cards. And I think my son was an infant. I remember it was Christmas at my parents' house. And I went to a store, and technically these are not for adults. But I found one of and I don't even know which one it was. I've had like 10 of these. It was one of the Mindware color counts, which are color by numbers. So I grabbed one, whatever the first one was I found, and I grabbed some super cheapy markers, probably Crayola Super Tips, and I went crazy for doing the color by number pages. Actually, this one looks pretty. I'm trying to see if I can find you one with the numbers. Well, we'll look in here. So for years, I mean literally 3 years, off and on, I would exclusively color these Mindware color by numbers. Here's one you can see with the numbers. I wasn't it was literally just done for relaxation. I would pull them out when I colored them and put them on a clipboard, and then when I was done, I would literally recycle them. And so I was constantly like, oh, did every picture in this book, time to recycle that one. And I just went through. In fact, I'm pretty sure some I ended up purchasing more than once. It was purely just for me to go do. So later on, when I say I never finished a coloring book, I guess I did finish some Mindware coloring books. Those are the only ones. So these were sort of the things that got me into coloring originally, and then it really wasn't until just like January of this year, maybe December of last year, so less than a year, when I picked up my first truly adult coloring book. And I want to say it was Hannah Lynn's Whimsy Girls at Work. This was the first real adult coloring book that was made for adults that I ever purchased, was this Hannah Lynn. And oh, it's still such a classic. Love it. Okay, what was the first supply you bought? So this is not the original set, but for the 3 or 4 years that I just did Mindware coloring, I almost exclusively used Crayola Super Tips. And I mean, I used them. I would use them for a few months. I would buy a new set. This spring, when I started coloring a wider variety and I started kind of keeping track of what I was coloring, I ended up going through and swatching these and labeling them. And then literally after I did this, I rarely use these now. So I don't know, maybe I should go back to my roots and try them again. But those were technically the first supply I bought. The first adult coloring supply I bought probably were these Ohuhu markers. This is a set. This is the 80 set. They're alcohol markers. Oh, look, I have other stuff mixed in. Also, this is no longer a full set because I've used some up, and so they're no longer in here. But this was the first adult coloring supply I felt like I bought for myself. And again, that was just earlier this year, probably January, to be honest. And I think I found out about these because I was watching, gosh, I'm going to have to link her below, but it was Shannon's channel. I think it's at Paul and Shannon's channel, and Shannon posts some coloring related things, and she was talking about these, and I think that's where I first heard about them from. First non-budget friendly set of colored pencils. First, and I think only non-budget friendly set of colored pencils I have are Prismacolors. I started with a set of 24, I think, 24, 36, not a huge set. And actually I grabbed that set a few years ago when I was exclusively doing Mindware coloring. Grabbed them, didn't think I liked them because I hadn't used like colored pencils since I was a kid, and then gave them to my mom to use. Well, now this spring I started experimenting more with colored pencils. I realized, wait, those were actually, I just didn't know what I was doing. I don't think I was used to the softer tip. I wasn't used to not having like a free-flowing marker. So anyway, started using Prismacolors a little bit more, and my mom actually found this set of 132, which I love. This is great. She found this on like Facebook Marketplace. So she got these secondhand and they've barely been used. My first hardback book that you bought, do not have one. I have all softback books. First buddy color. Okay, I went through to try to find it, and I'm pretty sure this was my first, but I know my first buddy color was with Danny Buttons, and I think it was this little firefighter, and this is from the Chibi Girls Grayscale 2 books in 1. She was definitely the first person I buddy color with. Danny, if you remember, tell me if this is what we did. I think it was. I could be wrong. The first coloring YouTube channel I started watching was Lavella's. And again, I'll link everyone I talk about below. Lavella's coloring channel I actually stumbled upon probably late last year, which is what started to plant this seed in my head of like, wait, there's other types of adult coloring. I might like the other kinds too. I might want to do something besides Mindware color by number. So again, if you're watching this, like, I am still super, super, super new to adult coloring, and I am just figuring it out as I go. So anyone can do this, you guys. If I can do it, anyone can do it. The first coloring page I ever colored, definitely was a Mindware book. Mindware color by number. The first maybe like non-Mindware color by number, I was trying to see if I could figure it out. I want to say, I actually don't know what my first completed picture is. No, because it was before that. I'm honestly not sure. I know, like, I started trying to do all these. Like, I started trying to do my first pictures. So I have a bunch of, like, unfinished ones I started probably, like, back in January, February. I actually don't know what my first, like, adult finished picture was, besides those Mindware color by numbers. My first portrait picture you colored, honestly, that was, I think, in here too. It might not have been until this. It might have been July 3rd of this year. I went and tried to look back in my books to see if I could find like a different portrait I'd done and dated from like January to July of this year that was finished, and I couldn't find one. So it was either this or I lost track. My first grayscale picture I ever colored was, again, probably that grayscale Chibi Girls coloring page I showed you with Danny. My first ever completed book, on my notes I wrote none, but I now remember, you guys, I finished so many of those Mindware books, I just recycled them as I went. Currently, I do not have a finished coloring book. Will I someday? That would be cool. We'll see, I guess, right? Bonus question, what was the first coloring tag you participated in? It was definitely Danny's second scavenger hunt. So, guys, that is all I have for you today. I hope everyone's well. Again, if you haven't done this colorist tag and you want to, please, please, please do. I've actually really loved watching my friends on here and people that I don't know who are doing this tag, because it's really interesting to learn more about them. And as I was watching all these people who had colored for been coloring for so long, I kept realizing, oh my gosh, I really am like a newbie around here. I haven't even been adult coloring that long. So anyway, anyone can do it, you guys, if I can. I hope everyone's doing well and is healthy and happy, and I'll see you next time, hopefully for finished October pictures. Okay, bye guys.